All right, man, let's talk about not Brian Norman, but Floyd Schofield the third being ranked #1 in the WBA for Tank. Tank, responded, said he would, do what he do to him. I'll put it on the screen. And the daddy said that they'd stop him. We know, I say this, man. We know that Tank got a pin on everybody, but don't want to fight nobody. Every time somebody becomes a challenger, becomes a rival, Gervonta Davis, he's ass or he's trash, or he always puts them down, no matter how skillful they were or how cool they were. And people tired of Tank. People tired of Tank. He remind you of Akeisha, always offended, always offended. Always offended. Like, why get so offended when you're in a sport to compete? You hear some people saying that a lot of men are in life, they are meant to compete. They are built to compete. So even if you're not a sportsman, you're competing against other men. Me personally, I don't look at it that way. I just look at it, be competing against myself. I don't measure myself against other men. Now, some people say that's not masculine, or that's you. You constantly measure yourself to another man. I don't really care. That's just not how I operate. I'm competing against myself. I set goals, and either I fail or I reach the goals. Simple as that. But in a sport, you are meant to compete, and you can't get mad when these guys want to fight you, and the big fish in the sport. You're the big dog in the sport. How can you be mad when guys want to fight you? I don't really understand why. He's so offended about the guys when they be coming to him on Contender. They're going to create the regular belt again, keep Schofield with the regular belt, and Tank not going to fight him at some point. The dude is 30. He'll be 31 pretty soon. At some point, when is he going to fight somebody of substance? When is he going to fight somebody that people want to see him fight? And this is why I leave him off the pound for pound list, is because you can't continue to reward this piss poor behavior that Gervonta Davis has. That's what it is. It's a piss poor behavior. Exactly what it is. It's a piss poor behavior that he has. And, at what point, when are you going to step up and get the fans what they want? So, to my opinion, obviously Tank's season, y'all always know I kind of tend to, favor the more seasoned, experienced fighter. But, with the gaps in, between their fights, fighting once a year, 16, 18 months. If you're a good young active champion, you can beat a lot of these title holders, these paper title holders, or, and what's so funny is Tank is, 30. He should be, about to peak out on his prime, and there's still questions about, how good is he? Can he take a shot? He got questions that, prospects and contenders still have. And you look, struggle with Rolly. You know what I'm saying? Struggle with Rolly. So he's not as good. That's why you hide those things. And one thing I kind of mentioned about Floyd is that Floyd eventually kind of avoided athletic fighters. He fought flat-footed Mexicans. So he avoided the athletic fighters. And when that athletic gap, when there's an athletic gap, that's closed, it's a different ball game. And you look at it with Tevin Farmer, and I might do a video on this. Look how Farmer was outclassing Rotella and Zepeda, but then he fought a young Schofield that he couldn't outclass because he didn't have an athletic advantage. That's what I'm talking about. That the athletic advantage, it really makes you get into your bag as a fighter. So, you know, when Tank fought, Lamar Roach, I'm pretty sure the athletic gap, it closed. Even with, Frank Martin, like there was that gap was starting to close, but Frank just didn't have the experience. You look at Frank, he got the moving back versus, he got the moving back towards, he got the moving backwards towards, when the first fight first, I said he lost. It's not who he is. And when you get a guy that usually comes forward and he's moving back, he lost the fight mentally. He should have came forward. When you fight punchers like Tank, you know what I'm saying? What did Lamar Roach do? Lamar Roach held his ground. Lamar Roach pushed him back. Lamar Roach sat in there with him, which most guys, when they fight punchers, they want to move. They want to start boxing, and all you're doing, the puncher is just able to control the pace. He able to walk you down, control the pace. You're going to get tired from moving, and then you're going to be a sitting duck and get knocked out. Exactly what the fuck going to happen. So you fight those punchers, you look what Andre Ward did versus Kovalev the first fight and the second fight. You close the gap. Once you get on the inside of that power, most punchers can't fuck with you. You got some like Foreman and Tyson, and these are anomalies, that can hurt you just on the inside. So you got to be careful. But for the most part, a lot of them punchers, even with Holyfield, he pushed Mike Tyson back. That is true. Even with Holyfield, he smothered Mike Tyson and he pushed Tyson backwards. That's how you do it. That's what Lamont did. He held his position. They knew what punches Tank liked to throw. They held their position, held their ground, and they went to work. All of a sudden, when Tank was no longer on the front foot, Tank was put off balance. He was put on his heels. That's how you fight. That's how you fight them guys. You protect against that right hook. You hold the phone. You know what I'm saying? You drop that elbow just in case he go to the body. And you know what he go. That's how you fight guys like that. You go to him. Bullies love to run down on you. What happened when you run down on the bully? You punch the bully in the mouth. You see what happened. That's how he was supposed to be. That Frank Martin was supposed to fight him. The people get so they believe the height the power before they get into the ring. They believe that height. But once you walk a guy down like that, you get on the inside with him, you smother the power, you catch the power, you shoot, you combination, you work the body. Now he get frustrated because he used to be in on the back foot. But if you allow a puncher to get on the front foot from the beginning, it's a mental advantage. It's going to be hard to change it. So what you want to do is establish the respect. And, Ward got caught with a good right hand, but he got up. And when he took that right hand from Kovalev, he took Kovalev's soul. He took his soul and he kept coming. You know what I'm saying? No Diddy, no Harvey Weinstein, no Kanye, no Kevin Spacey. Just Kevin Spacey. And he went to work. He grinded it out. That's how you do it. You might get caught, but the thing is, it's a mental thing. When I push the puncher back and put him on his heels, most punchers ain't used to that and they ain't on balance to punch. So now I'm dictating the pace when you fight a guy like Tank. I'm dictating the pace. I'm pushing you back. I'm catching your shit. I'm countering. I'm touching you to the body. That's how you fight those guys. And that's what I said, similar to how Crawford gonna have to fight Canelo, it's gonna have to be like something like that. Then you go into your bag. When you put enough rounds in there, then you go to the bag and then you start boxing and moving, pop shotting. You get them frustrated. Now they desperate. They make mistakes. You seen with Tank, he desperate, made a mistake, got dropped. Regardless of what they say, he got dropped. It was a punch. You want to make the puncher desperate and make mistakes. When they start making mistakes and leaving themselves open, that's when you put work in. So yeah, that's how you fight. You gonna move, don't lose. Establish the respect, and the respect can be as simple as hitting them with a good shot. Respect can be taking his best shot and keep coming, you know, and keep coming at him and putting work in. That can take a puncher's soul. Most punchers, two things you learn about the most elite punchers. One, two things you kind of know. A lot of them are mentally fragile, you know, and some of them don't have a chin. And if they have a chin, they can't take body work, you know. So that's what I learned. That's pretty much what I learned historically about punchers. A lot of times, if they don't get you, you can get them. You know, a lot of times you can show you can take their punch and give a punch back. They start to question themselves. But yeah, you know, Floyd Schofield to get the regular belt. He probably never fight Tank. It don't really matter. They parade around like they world champions and shit, and they really not. But you know, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And the subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance, get notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Patreon, Free Game 89, my Detroit channel, Cash App, Venmo, CJ Good 313, PayPal link there. Peace.